In this video, we're checking out the new Furitek Avatar transmitter with the 4-wheel steering setup. We're going to be hooking this up to a rig. I'm going to demonstrate how the 4-wheel steering works. I'm also going to sync it up to some existing rigs, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on whether or not this new 4-wheel steering edition is worth the upgrade. Let's check out the new Avatar here. I've got two rigs to choose from to demo this thing on. I've got kind of Rust Bucket here, the Power Wagon, and I've got the fully built AX24. So we'll determine what we want to use it on, but let's open this thing up and take a look. Now the transmitter itself is very similar to its predecessor. Really the only difference is this wheel on the outside here. It goes together in two pieces, just like that. Batteries go in here. Takes 4 AAAs, I believe. Another small difference is the micro receiver has been redesigned. So if you see, if I got one I can show you, but if you can see that, this is what the previous micro receiver looked like. It was kind of a very raw, open design, very flat and compact, and just had your 4 pins coming off here for your 4 channels. The new design is a thicker plastic case design with the pins facing up vertically rather than going up and out horizontally. Overall footprint is going to be a little bigger, I think, with this new one, just because it's taller, it's shorter, slightly wider. But I think I prefer this design, honestly. It's still very small and should fit in a variety of different builds if you're crunched for space. I think this is still going to be a good option. This is not waterproof, to my knowledge. Don't see any waterproofing inside the case here. You will get probably an extra layer of protection just because of the plastic case, but I wouldn't go in too deep of water with this thing. To turn the Avatar on, we're going to press this button, going to hold it. One press will get you into this, and you're going to hold it again to turn it on. From your home screen, you can toggle right for telemetry, or you can toggle left for your 4-wheel steering configuration. That's rear, front, and then you can toggle through. So if you want to use the dial for your rear steer, see that I got it fixed up now. Look at that. Now you've got true independent rear steering with the dial. So if you want to set this up, what you have to do, you have to go back to your crawler mix and you have to leave it as standard. So if you want proportional rear steer, where your primary knob does both servos and you can toggle between the phases, that's when you want to do your crawler mode. But if you want to use the wheel here, you got to select standard and then go into your button map, and you want to assign button 3, which is this knob, to channel 3, which is where the servo is plugged in. Or if you had it in channel 4, it'd be channel 4. So with this setup, we're now able to achieve fully independent rear steering. It is very touchy, I gotta say. I'm going to try to turn that down a little bit because it is super. Look at, just barely touching it. Thing's wild. So I need to be careful with that. It's going to take some getting used to, but very cool. I need some serious hand-eye coordination here. So this is definitely going to take some getting used to. I do see that there's a lot of practicality here. Instead of stopping and switching through the individual phases, you're able to just utilize the 4-wheel steer independently to the degree that you need it to on the fly. It does beep when you get into the center. It's kind of let you know where you're at. It's going to take some getting used to, though, some serious coordination, but I'm already really enjoying this. So I'm going to button this up. We'll get it on the rocks and test this thing out in the real world. So I'm out here with the old Rust Bucket, trying the 4-wheel steer Avatar. It's going to be really tricky to do one-handed and film. I'm going to do my best. I might have to just go home and set the tripod up on the course to really demonstrate this for you guys, but let's see. So here's a good
There we go. laser comes out of nowhere.
Let's see.
That's why I make this.
This is tricky one-handed, but it is effective. Oh.
Oh, I thought you needed help. I thought you needed some blazer help. I thought that's why I brought the blazer over here. Just in case you need recovery. That's why I brought the blazer.
Oh man, that was gnarly. We were able to do it. Man. I really dig the practicality of this setup. A lot of people talked about having the truly independent rear steering on the knob like on the Fly Sky. I never really saw the benefits, but now I can really see it.
I don't have my power mode. Well, see, my not calling mode.
Whoa, that was awesome. One thing I do feel like I am going to have to do is turn down the power on that rear steering. It is so powerful. The Reef's 179 at the 8.4 volts that I'm running on this thing, just out of control fast. And that knob is really twitchy, so I've got to be really cautious with the rear servo there. But I am loving this setup. And it's actually not as bad as I was expecting one-handed. See, I'm just twitching it like that, and then just moving my thumb back and forth. Works really good. Very cool. All right, I'm getting a heat warning on my phone, so I'm going to wrap up the video here. I'm going to do some more at home, but glad I got this out to demo it in the real world. So one of the other things I was curious about with this transmitter was whether or not it would work with the previous iteration of the micro receivers, and it certainly does. So here it is on the AX24, which was running the first generation micro receiver. Was able to bind it up no problem. So now I have two models on this new Avatar, which can store up to 10. So the Avatar, if you're not familiar with the Avatar, I've done a video on this prior, and I'll link that initial video down below. But just give you a quick rundown on some of the functions that are available in this thing. So go into your menu, so you can set all of your trim, your throttle, and your steering. You can set your endpoints too. This is cool. You get into the exponential. This is where you can adjust your steering and your throttle. So if you want to go to your throttle, this is our forward exponential. So if you want to, flatten that curve out, you can do so. You can kind of see it. It's hard to see that little tiny, I don't know why the AX24 is wandering away from me here, but you can really flatten that curve out here if you want. You can do it forward and reverse. I like a nice slow throttle curve in the beginning, and even more in reverse. So we'll try that. You can rename your model, servo output, things like that. This is where you scroll through your models. Like I said, it can store up to 10. Your telemetry on your screens, this is where you can choose what telemetry you want to show. There's two options because you have two telemetry screens on your home screen. Press and hold the button to go back to your main menu. And then, in your home screen, you can see the real-time throttle telemetry here. Has channel 3 on the bottom as well. So it's a very cool little system. There's lots of functionality, lots to see in this tiny little screen here. So now we've got the AX24 hooked up. Why don't we hit the course and I'll demonstrate how this thing works. I'm going to set the camera up on a tripod so that you can actually see the benefits of having the truly independent rear steering. We can actually see it in action. So let's go hit it up. All right, out here on the outdoor rock course, going to demonstrate the independent rear steering with the old Angry Sparrow AX24 build. Still learning my hand-eye coordination here. So it's slower and a little more cumbersome than I would like it to be, but that's just because of learning to use it myself. Navigate the bird poop there. Oh no, ooh, that was close. That's quite the gate, huh? Well, I'm impressed. The functionality of this independent rear steering is surpassing my expectations for sure. This is such an advantage. Let's talk about the Avatar 4-wheel steering edition. So you guys know I dig the Avatar. I've been running this for over a year on many of my other builds. I have 8 or 9 other rigs hooked up to my previous Avatar, and it's been great. It's treated me really well. I like the compact size. I love the ergonomics of it, the functionality, and the tuning you can do with it. I really do enjoy it. And this one with the dial for the independent rear steering really is more impressive than I was expecting. Having that dial there so I can very easily operate the rear steering independently really opens up a level of practicality and performance that I was missing out on before, just using the toggling over to the screen and then scrolling up and down. I'd gotten to where I could do that one-handed, but as you can see, it's pretty cumbersome. So my previous way of scrolling through the modes feels completely ludicrous compared to how easy and functional it is to use the dial. So I think for a 4-wheel steering rig, this is definitely worth the upgrade and is an excellent transmitter. However, got to talk about the price. Furitek, I love you guys over there, but I think the price creep on this is getting into dangerous territory. You're $165 for this with the receiver combo. You can buy additional receivers. You can get them in a 3-pack for $100. So you're about $33 for another micro receiver. When I think about some of the other competitors on the market as far as transmitters go, mainly the FlySky GT5, which is nearly $100 less expensive, has a bigger screen, can hold more models, maybe not as ergonomically comfortable and efficient, but it does also have the dials available where you can do the 4-wheel steering on the dials as well. So for me, I really like to have a closed system. I like to have the consistent electronics all across the board if I can, which is one of the main reasons why I really like the Avatar system. It kind of closes the loop on the brushless systems that I use. But if that's not really important to you, you've got to look at what you're getting for the cost here. And while this is loaded with features, I do think that the price is getting up there. Just got to be fully transparent with you guys. But overall, I do still think this is a great transmitter. If you're looking to upgrade your transmitter to something that can store more models, has more functionality built into it, and if you're running a 4-wheel steering rig, that dial on the side for truly independent rear steering is a game changer. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the Avatar 4-wheel steering? And what's your go-to transmitter? The Furitek Avatar 4-wheel steering setup is available now on the Furitek website. I will link it down below. I'll also put the links there for the additional micro receivers too. And as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you in the next video.